So here's the big question. How are entrepreneurs like us, who have been hustling and struggling to make it to success, who seem to make it one step forward only to fall two steps back, who are dedicated, determined, and driven, how do we finally break through and win? That is the question, and this podcast will give you the answers. My name is Brian Kelly, and this is the Mind, Body, Business Show. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Mind, Body, Business Show. We have an amazing show lined up for you tonight. I cannot wait to bring on our special guest. Some of you might have just saw a little glimpse of her right there. Clarissa Burt is coming on. She is in the wings waiting, and she is going to be on the Mind, Body, Business Show. I am so excited because you're going to find out why. This is a woman of incredible energy, of incredible acumen, of intelligence, of work ethic, of entrepreneurship, you name it. This woman has got it. She's got the talent base that of very few people that I've ever met in my life. And I cannot wait to share her value, her wisdom with you. This is going to be something very, very special. So stay with us through the end of the show. The Mind, Body, Business Show. That is, and this is a show for you. It is a show for entrepreneurs by entrepreneurs. And our mission is to bring on the best of the best, those that have succeeded, those that have reached the pinnacle of their craft, so that we can share their gifts with you so that you can learn the secrets to their success. And then literally all you need to do is take notes and then learn how they achieve their success and how they continue to ride that rocket ship even higher, and just model it, copy what they do. That's it. It's really that simple when it comes down to how do you become successful? All you have to do is copy. Pretty cool, huh? That is what this show is all about. And what I found is all successful people over the course of a 10-year study where I just followed only successful people and mentors of mine, books that I read of authors that either I knew personally or had met personally, or even authors that no longer are with us on this planet, and just kept learning what made these people so successful, more successful than I was at the time. What could I do to change my own game and reach the levels they had? And I found over the course of those years that three patterns developed. And you might guess what those three are. Yes, mind, body, and business. Mind is a powerful yet flexible, the key being flexible mindset. Each and every one of these individuals had developed that. Body literally means taking care of your physical body through exercise on a regular basis and through nutrition, what you ingest. And then there's business. Business is multifaceted, and these successful people had mastered the skill sets that are necessary to become successful in business. And there are so many. There's marketing, there's sales, systematizing, team building, leadership. I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on. And here's the thing. I personally believe that no one human being can master every skill set that is necessary to become very, very successful in business. The good news is there's one of those that I mentioned already, that if you were to master just that one, then you can leverage. And that one skill set is leadership. When you've mastered the skill set of leadership, you can then bring on a team of individuals who have mastered the skill sets that you have yet to master, and honestly may not ever have time to. Now you have a team with all the skill sets necessary, and you have the ability to lead them and to make your business thrive. So speaking of thriving, another thing that really, really successful entrepreneurs do is they read voraciously, and they read the right books, not just any books. And with that, I want to quickly segue into a little segment I affectionately call Bookmarks.
Bookmarks. Born to read. Bookmarks. Ready, steady, read. Bookmarks. Brought to you by reachyourpeaklibrary.com.
Yes, there you see it. reachyourpeaklibrary.com. Real quick before I jump into that, you are going to be learning about several resources on this show, as we do every single time we come on the air. And you're going to learn about websites and books and other great things do yourself a favor and resist that temptation to click away from the show and go check those out during the show. Instead, I would recommend and suggest that you maybe get out an old-fashioned piece of paper and a writing instrument of your choice, pen or pencil, or even get on your computer if you have room on your window next to watching us, and take notes. Just write down the resources and visit them later after the show is over. Here's the reason why. The reason is that the magic happens in the room. I would really hate for you to go off and get sidetracked and take your attention away from Clarissa, as she's giving you that one golden nugget that could potentially change your life forever. And I mean it, that these are the types of entrepreneurs that come on this show. They have life-changing advice, and to a person, every single one has done the same thing. So please stay with us to the end so that you can get the most out of it. All right, reachyourpeaklibrary.com. Write that down. Don't go there. Write it down. Reachyourpeaklibrary.com. That is a website I had developed with you in mind, the entrepreneur, the business person. No matter what your level of success is today, here is a miniature library that you can go to that I personally have vetted, that every book in here, it's only in here if I've read it and it had actual impact, very positive impact on either my business or my life or both. And so as I began reading voraciously, and I only started about 10 years ago reading, which is another story into its own right. And I began reading really fast, really quickly using Audible, and just started taking note of those books that were impactful. And I decided to put them all in one place. And the list just keeps going on and on and on. So this is here for you. And what I would recommend is, if you're just starting, or even if you've already read some and you just found a book in this list that, hey, I've never read that, just go ahead and click the button and go read it. In other words, don't go through paralysis by analysis and read every description of every book, because by the time you do, you'll have almost read another book. It's all about working efficiently and smart. And so, speaking of smart, I got to tell you, our guest expert is beyond intelligent. She is an amazing, amazing young lady. And rather than me just, gush all over the place about her, I'm going to bring her on. It is time now to bring on Clarissa Burt. Here we go.
It's time for the Guest Expert Spotlight. Savvy, skillful, professional, adept, trained, big league, qualified.
And there she is, ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only Clarissa Burt.
Go ahead and gush. I'll just sit here and wait. I'd love to hear you gush. Please do.
Well, I could fill the hour easily.
Oh, you're too much. That's why I was very sweet.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Very kind.
You are one of the most amazing people I've ever met, Clarissa. I've never met someone with the combination of talent, God-given and nurtured, that you have put the time in, of intelligence, of business savvy, of energy, of everything. I mean, you're the full package. And the great news is there are going to be so many women that could take advantage of your brilliance. And we'll get into that deeper during the show. Before I jump in real quick, and I'm going to actually introduce you formally. Before I do that, real quick, I want to remind everybody that's watching live is that if you stay on to the very end live, you get a chance to win a 5-night stay at a 5-star luxury resort. Compliments of our pals at the Big Insider Secrets. You see their logo on the upper right of the screen. If you're watching, if you're on a podcast, it's thebiginsidersecrets.com. And Jason Naston, my buddy, he's a great friend of mine. He's the head of that company, and they provide this wonderful gift that we get to give away each and every show. I love it. I love it. I love it. Now, let's do it. Let's bring this amazing, beautiful woman on the screen formally to the show. Clarissa Burt is an award-winning actress, international media personality, producer, director, writer, author, public speaker, and supermodel. Holy moly. With hundreds of television and film credits to her name, this who's who of international and American women brings over 30 years of entertainment industry experience in both international and American markets. I can't believe 30 years. You can't be old enough for that. Clarissa is recently awarded the Certificate of Global Honor by the University of Pune, India, and the Women of Excellence Award by the Women's Economic Forum in Los Angeles. That's Los Angeles for those of you that don't know. And currently, Clarissa is now the CEO and founder of In the Limelight, a multimedia platform for women entrepreneurs. I can't wait to dig into this. Yeah. The In the Limelight Media mission aims to elevate the position and condition of women entrepreneurs globally, both personally and professionally, providing educative, entertaining, and empowering content. All right, that's our show for tonight. No, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the big screen, Clarissa Burt once again. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing really well, thank you. Well, we do want to thank Jason Nast also because he introduced you and I.
Yes, and boy, right off the bat, there's a lesson: is connections and networking, isn't it?
Networking, and I say it every show. I have my own show in the Limelight Network, in the Limelight, television, and under the network, and I speak to entrepreneurs all the time, and that's the one thing that I am constantly saying is the importance of networking. And people keep saying, Brian, oh, we're all working double time, man. I'm working since COVID. I'm working 2-3 times as much. Well, we're working so much more because we're packing so much more into the day because we're not traveling, we're not on the highways, we're not in traffic, and we're not at the events or the networking events where maybe you're at the bar with somebody, you're catching a coffee around, or like really compact. It's more of a concentrated effort, if you will, by being here in front of I don't know how many Zoom calls you did today, but I know how many I did, and it's just we're just getting a lot more done, which I have to say is exhausting, but it's enthralling at the same time.
I can so relate. It is exactly that way. I think we have fewer distractions because we are kind of secluded. In the car, far less. I go out far less. I order groceries online and have them delivered, where now I could go get them. But I would lose time in doing what I love to do, which is build the business, which is what you do. And that's one of the things about you that really impresses me, Clarissa, is your work ethic. You are an amazing woman when it comes to that as well. You just work, and you love what you get to do. You're passionate about it. And I was curious, so I love the bio that you gave, and it talks a lot about your accolades on the surface view, right? The physical view. What I like to do, the first thing is dig deep into that beautiful brain of yours and find out what it is, because look, you work hard. There's a lot of challenges that you face every single day as an entrepreneur. We both understand and get that, and everyone watching does too. So for you, when you get up in the morning, first thing in the morning, and you know that all of this is in front of you, all the challenges, all the victories as well, what is it though going on in your brain every morning that motivates you and that drives you to do it again yet another day?
Yeah. And they always say, what would you do for free? What would you do if you could do it if you had to do it for free? And for me, it's always been media. Look, I was Mary Poppins in the kindergarten play. In my life, I think it was always going to be a stage and a microphone. It's just kind of like how I was wired, if you will. And I didn't really come into my own in that sense for quite some years after that. But once I did, I fell in love with the medium. I fell in love with the cameras. I fell in love with the audience. I love that kind of connection. And I love what media is able to do, whether it be traditional or social, for all of our businesses. A lot of the times, Brian, we hear about people that are cutting off, right away. They got to cut some, they make some cuts, and they make cuts on the promotional piece of their business or the PR piece of their business. And it's the last thing you want to do. The first thing that you want to be continuing to do in periods much like COVID, and when there are a lot of, there's a recession or, God forbid, a depression going on, is to continue to let people know that you are still there, you're still up and running, you're still healthy, you're still able to bring some value and some service to them. I think it's one of the most important things. Cut some lights, cut something. I don't know what else you can do, but cut something else, but never ever cut the promotional piece that is so vitally important to your business.
Couldn't agree more. I mean, it's like many companies when struggles hit will cut the marketing arm first, which is like cutting off your own blood supply.
Yep.
Why would you ever contemplate doing something like that? It's in the sales force, it's marketing and sales that get hit first. And you're absolutely correct. And I look at this time that we're in right now as an immense opportunity. And why is that? Because more people are gravitating to online live media like we're doing right now.
Mhm.
And there's never been a better time, in my humble opinion, Clarissa, to get your word out about yourself in general.
Don't forget about this either, Brian, is that even the traditional media, they're hit by the recession just like we are, right? So their costs, their pricing is going way down. They're out there really
Mm.
scrambling for those, advertising dollars or, whatever else it is. You might be able to pick yourself up a 15, 20, 30-second commercial, even if they're on for pennies on the dollar, pennies on the dollar. And I only use that as an example. Certainly there are magazines and newspapers and all other kind of places that we can find opportunities to promote our businesses. Social, obviously, even there are so many different ways that we can be continually promoting our business. That's rule number one for me, is do not stop promoting. And of course, as we said before, networking is a part of that too.
Yeah, it's again marketing, and that's exposure, and it's your life's blood. Here's the thing, you could have the greatest storefront, the most beautiful, gorgeous, glitzy, glamorous lights flashing and everything. And my gosh, people, if only they saw it, they would come in. There's the rub. They must see it.
But they have to
And
see it.
if they don't know you exist, if you're not out there, if you're not getting the help of someone like Clarissa in getting out there, getting the exposure, getting your name recognized, your face recognized, if you're not doing that, then no matter what kind of storefront you have, it won't matter. You could have the best website that's been split tested and ad copy paid $200,000 for the best ad copy on the planet. But if nobody ever opens the website, what good is it?
Nothing.
That is why people like Clarissa exist. And that is to help you to get that part taken care of. And then so much more.
What I wanted to do, Brian, within the Limelight was to help solopreneurs and entrepreneurs that either, have products or services that they want to get the word out, but they don't necessarily have big budgets. They don't necessarily have the wherewithal, the know-withal. I mean, to do what you and I do takes a lot of work. This is not, it looks really great, but there's a lot of work behind all this. Pre-production, there's production, there's post-production, there's finding the, millions of the moving parts that you and I know very well. If you take that chunk out of your own business, that's a huge chunk to take, right? So you'd want to be working in your business and not on your business and not in your business, as they say, right? So when you hand it off to somebody like In the Limelight or somebody much like yourself, I'm able to help people get their videos done. They get a podcast. I have a digital magazine right now. I can show you, a print version. I don't print many. I only print them for my coffee table, but you'll see a digital version. It is In the Limelight. We call it Savvy, Intelligent Media for the Savvy Entrepreneur. And right then and there, you're in a magazine. You can write for the magazine. You can be an ad in the magazine. We send you out on our newsletters. We write press releases for you. And it's not that big budget piece that you think it is to be able to do this. What I'm really excited about now is that I'm creating the In the Limelight network, whereby we're going to be on a beautiful OTT over the top platform, or one of these platforms, much like Netflix or Hulu. And then there'll be a lot of different entrepreneurs having their own shows right under the network. So, for, again, pennies on the dollar, I'm making it possible for, I don't want to call it the little guy, because that's not, we're never little guys, but we're certainly not Coca-Cola and we're not Ford, right? We have to be able to promote our businesses in an intelligent way. And I want to help people do that on a budget.
I love it, because so many need what you provide, but so many can't, they don't have the budget.
Too much.
It's a marketing budget. Here's the thing though, if you're out there considering hiring somebody like Clarissa and In the Limelight, be sure to make marketing your number one priority. Yes, putting food on the table is also very important, but when you're looking at budgets and when you're looking at spending on, say, equipment, inventory, whatever it happens to be for your particular business, if you don't have a marketing budget that is your top priority, then your business is likely not to make it very far.
Already, we're kind of in this kind of COVID period, if you will, Brian. Already we're spending less in gas. Insurance companies, car insurance companies have, they've sort of readjusted, if you will, not by much, but a little. They've readjusted too. There are different ways that you can take a look at your budget and massage it a little bit, so that you don't have to forget to promote your business. As we said again, it's just too important.
Yeah. And so I think we got a theme for the show. I'm going to say it's marketing and exposure.
I think we're going to say that.
Public relations, all of it put together, promotional marketing.
And
it
there's
comes
so
down to
many great, and by
marketing.
the way, Brian, as you well know, there are so many really great Zoom, networking events happening, and a lot of them are for free.
Yeah.
And I'm on them all. I sign up for every one of them, and if I'm not really, let me just put it this way: they're at least always in the background. I might be working. I don't always show up on video because I'm not always video ready because of the amount of work that I've got going on, but they're always going on in the background. Sign up for as much as you can. It doesn't necessarily have to be there. You don't always have to have the video on, which I don't know if that's always a good thing, but it's the way I get through the day. I learn more about people. There's more people that I can reach out to on the list, and it's just another way of networking. Even in a networking event, I'm always the one in the back of the room. I'm not at the table at the front of the room. I'm always at the table at the back of the room because I can slip out the door and come back, that kind of thing. So I think that that's another really great way to stay engaged while you're working, but, keep your ear to the ground, keep up on what's happening around you so that you can see in 6 months' time, we shifted completely. The way we work is completely different.
It's amazing how much you learn by just attending these things. And yeah, I've always taught and trained, just show up to as many as you can. That makes sense. Make sure you have an actual outcome in mind before you go. So, one of the most powerful outcomes could be to meet the speaker, the main speaker of the event. And isn't it amazing if you set that as your outcome,
always happens.
It happens
because they want to be met. They're there because they want to network, because they want to be met. And for someone like myself and we can go to we used to be able to go to a lot of these events as press, and they're always looking for press. So that's another really great thing that I help people with is starting their own shows and making sure that they're locked and loaded when they think, oh, they would never come on my show. Yeah, they would. And here's another really great thing. I know you know this, Brian, as well as I do, is get yourself over to Amazon and just start looking up, the books that are in your niche, the people that you want to interview. And there's a plethora of people that want to promote their books that will always say, I have never had anybody say no to be on my show. I don't know about you, but I have never had anybody that's promoting something that wants to get the word out about their book or what product or service that I haven't been very successful at being able to get on but now I'm not that, well known here and, but they will come on when you set your business up in a way with beautiful imagery and you set it up with a beautiful media kit and all the other things that we teach you. People are they're going to want to be on your show. Believe me.
I'm glad you brought that up because quality is a big part of it. I've seen so many that come on and start a live show and they're doing it on a phone with a trembling hand with horrible sound and no forethought, just no graphics, let's just turn it on and start talking.
But a lot of people know differently. They don't know that there's another way of doing that. I don't know that I could be a brain surgeon tomorrow morning either, right? I mean, there's a certain process you have to go through. And most people, here's the other thing is the fear, public speaking, fear of being in front of a camera. And let me tell you, it's like anything else. It's like the first time we got on a bicycle, Brian, right? I was a little wobbly. I remember the first way, but it's like anything. Now I can get back on a bicycle I haven't been on in 10 years and ride it as if it were, as if it were yesterday. So it's the same thing. It's the same thing with media. It's the same thing with being in front of the cameras. And it's the same thing with having your own show. It takes 2-3 times and then you slide into it and then you really start to enjoy it.
Oh yeah. And it's about just getting off, just going. You got to get started. Hey, Mike Mastriani came on and saying, love her, Brian. Her ideologies and energy is contagious. Oh my goodness. You're right. Energy is off the charts. Thank you for introducing. And he later said her.
Mastriani is the very important Italian last name for Marcello Mastriani.
Yes. And he is also a high energy guy. I know him personally. He's a great guy. Hails from the East Coast, so we've got an Easterner. Yeah,
I know everybody can hear the accent. I'm Philly and a New Jersey girl. There you go.
Oh, there you go. You're not too far from him then.
That's right.
From that. Hey, open the show by talking a little bit about reading, the importance of it. And I understand a little birdie told me that someone may have just written a book and sold it or something. I don't know who that might have been. Is there a copy handy that you could flash?
I'm excited about it. I'm really excited about it because it's something I've been wanting to write for, a gajillion years and never got around to it. Well, I met a wonderful guy by the name of Gary Krebs, who is not only a literary agent, but he is also a ghostwriter. And he and I met at a networking event, yet again, the Secret Knock by Greg Reed out in San Diego. And he heard me speak and he came up to me and he said, I really want to write your book. And I said, listen, I'd love to work with you, but I just the money. No, we're good. So we made a deal, lovely deal, and we've written the book. It's called The Self-Esteem Regime, and it was sold to Rowman and Littlefield in New York City. I love a huge publishing company. We've got an upfront payment. What do they call that? Oh, yeah, I think it's reserve. I don't know. I can't remember. I'm too busy. I'm fried by this time of the day, by the way. And so very excited about the self-esteem regime because it's really a cool concept, I think. And it helps people along with their confidence and their self-esteem in many different ways. And I'm very thrilled about that. We also sold the audio rights to recorded books. So we're really, really thrilled. It'll be my very first, apart from the cookbook that's behind me. I don't know if you can see the cookbook over here. Yeah, right there.
Yeah.
That's the Italian gluten-free gastronomy cookbook, because I found out the hard way after living 30 years in Italy that I had problems with gluten. So everything in Italy is either pizza or pasta or bread or whatever. And so I couldn't understand why I was constantly being rushed to a hospital and I looked like Shrek all the time. But anyway, that's another story for another day. But I'm very thrilled about this the self-esteem regime, because for me, Brian, it's really more than a book. It's really it's a movement. It's a mission, and I want it to be global. People just need to be waking up in the morning and have a great relationship with themselves before they can have a great relationship with others, and that's what it's all about.
I love that title, The Self-Esteem Regime.
Thank you.
That is fantastic. Do you have a copy of it?
It's nothing more than an organized way of doing things. That's what regime means.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Do you have a copy handy next to you?
No, it's not even coming. No, it's not. We're not even. It will not even be published for another year and 2 months, I think.
Oh, wow.
We're still writing it. We have to have it in by the end of this year.
Oh, sweet.
Per contract. And so Gary and I we're working on a chapter each week, which, if you want to know why I wasn't able to, do everything I was supposed to do for your, automation, for the automation master. Oh, God. Oh, my Lord. And so it's an inside joke, everybody, because Brian, when you come onto his show, is going to make sure you don't forget it. And so, but it's really cool to first of all, to get a book deal from a really reputable New York publishing house, and then to get the oh God, what's the name of the word I'm looking for? Everybody, write it in the comments. Not the reserve, the money they give you up front. Brian.
Oh, retainer?
Right back. No.
No?
I'll come up with it before the end of the show. I'm sure I will.
Deposit?
No, it's kind of like that. But listen to me. That's so embarrassing. Oh my goodness. Yes, this is what happens to, it's funny because I love to say, well, you didn't want to work a 9 to 5, be prepared to work 24/7. And we all as entrepreneurs know that's true. But I've been walking around lately going, you know what? I think I'm working 25/8. I really do. I think that's going to be the name of my next book. Yeah. So
yeah, totally relate to that too. And you know what? The thing is, it doesn't, I don't know. I'm sure it is the same with you. It doesn't feel like it's work the entire time, and very little of the time. You've got to find something you love to do. Yeah. I've heard so many people say both sides of the fence on that, be passionate about what you do. Well, if you're not passionate about it, it's going to be a grind. It's going to be tough. Yeah. Can you do it? Yes. But, the odds are stacked against you that you'll succeed and take it as far as you would with something that you're passionate about, like Clarissa is.
Yeah. I don't know if I answered your question before when you said what motivates you when you get up in the morning. And sometimes I'm not going to lie. Sometimes it's really hard.
Yeah.
As we all know, there's up and downs and it's really hard to keep yourself up and bubbly and joyful and, mindful and all that stuff every day. I don't know about you all, but I know what's happening over here, and it's a challenge at times. It's really hard. And then I honestly, and I know it's going to sound hokey, but it's the truth. I push myself forward because I really do hope that the message, whether it be through the shows and the media, the podcast, or the magazine, or even the book, and that is going to be a very important piece or a very important message for someone. And so I'll pat, out in the kitchen in the morning and I'm making my coffee, and I don't drink coffee, I drink tea. I'm making my tea, and I just hope that it's really making, what I'm doing is going to make a difference for someone. And that's what really kind of motivates me. It keeps me going. And it's just, when I go, it's not about you, Clarissa, it's about them. Honestly, and I know that sounds like, whatever, but it's kind of true. It's really true for me. And so, because if we're up to me, I don't know. Sometimes I just want to shut it all down and go live on an island, in the Bahamas somewhere. But I don't, and I won't, but it's all good because I really do. I love this. I love what I do.
That's why I have people like you on the show, because you're about serving people. Your why is not inward, it's outward. You're looking to make lives better for those that you can touch. And the more work and effort you put in, the more people you can help.
Yeah.
And that is what I love about what I get to do. This show, every entrepreneur that's been on the show has that similar servant attitude. And this is a big lesson for people, Clarissa, especially those that are starting out. When you first start out, there's a lot more scarcity mindset going on, because you got to make the money to pay for your rent, your food, and all that. And we get that. That happens. That's okay. But you're going to find out very quickly, though, if your attitude doesn't change over to one of a servant, someone who's there to help others, you're going to, again, struggle to make it in your business unless you are there to think about others rather than it's like going on stage, right, Clarissa? You go on stage, and if you're all nervous and you're all like just in a knot, it's because you're thinking about yourself. Yeah. And what is going to happen to you. But if you turn that around and say, I can't wait, I wonder how much impact I can make on this crowd, then those nerves dissipate magically. It's just like that. What do you think?
I do think that that's the way it is. I think a little bit of nervous is kind of a good motivator as well. Those first couple of minutes are always, they're always a little more tough, but certainly I don't think that we would be in the game if that wasn't, because there are a lot of people who would never even walk up the steps to, they wouldn't even consider being on a stage. And if they only knew truly, like what you just said, is that, the message that you're impacting someone else. And, if I were standing with you one-to-one outside in the hall, as opposed to up on that stage, what's the difference?
Exactly.
You may only impact one person in a 300 person audience. You don't know, so it's not really necessarily where you're standing and if you have a microphone or not. It's the message that's in your heart. I think that's the important thing. Now, I just happen to love a microphone, but I think it's a deformation. It's a work hazard, if you will. It is. It's kind of like a hazard when it's getting me to shut up is really the problem. But I just love being able to help with that. I have on the show every 2 weeks we have domesticshelters.org, and I use that more as a PSA, a public service announcement, especially because during COVID a lot more women are being abused at home because they're at home with the abuser. So I bring them on as a public service announcement, and it has just had such great success. And that to me, it's just making sure that women know that there is someplace they can go and they can get help. I'm done here. We've done our job.
Yeah. And, I think this is right down the alley of what you do for people. You're trying to get people more exposure. And some people are a little resistant to that if they have not gotten used to being on camera, if they haven't gotten used to being on stage, if they haven't gotten used to having their picture in a magazine seen by millions of people. Right. The cool thing is, a quick story I heard about Johnny Carson. He used to be the host of The Tonight Show. I have to say that because some people actually don't know that.
I remember I was there.
I know, but some people don't even know his name.
Well, a lot of people don't remember Bob Hope, and I'm sure you and I do.
Yes. But one thing I learned, this guy went on 5 nights a week in front of millions of people. This was the show to watch at night before you went to bed. Yep. And he was a comedian, and he was at the top of his game, and he was incredible at it. And he confided and said that when he's behind the curtain, as Ed McMahon is about to announce and bring him on, without fail, every single show, he was shaking in his boots. Mm-hmm. He was nervous. And that, when I heard that for the first time, I thought, well, then it's okay. Like you said, it's okay to be nervous. Yeah. There's a healthy nervous, but just know that that's a natural thing. And you may likely never get rid of it, and you may not want to, because it gives you that drive and that extra boost when you get up on stage. You have that energy to welcome everybody. So just know that. And with Clarissa's help, Katie bar the door. You're just gonna take it to the next level.
The other thing is nobody's sitting in the audience going, "Oh, can't wait to see this person fail." Nobody's sitting there saying, "I can't wait to see you fail." That's not the way it works. The human mind, when they see someone come out on stage, they really want you to do well, and they really are excited to hear what you've got to say. Now, if you're boring, they're probably going to get up and do a coffee break. But, they really want to hear what you've got to say. And you really want to be the person that's going to say what they want to hear, so it's just kind of like a win-win. It's not as scary as you think it is. It really isn't. And then you get to a point where it's not really, really not scary at all. Like, I could do this all day long.
Yeah. I look forward to it now more than ever. Hey, our buddy Mike's back. I love her energy, and people need to hear her. Yes, I agree. That's why she's on this show. Great advice to people that need help. Could
Yeah.
not agree more. Thank
Yeah.
you, Mike, for that.
Mike, thank you.
Definitely agree totally and wholeheartedly. Yeah, because we used to be able to speak on stage in front of people, and I miss it. I got to the point where I loved it. I'll tell you, the first few times, was I nervous? You better believe it, I was nervous because you've never done it before. You're not sure if the thing is, do you have the material down? Are you going to make an impact on people? But when you're first doing it, those things aren't in your head. You're just all in yourself.
Yeah, by
But
the way,
once you get
nobody knows
through
what
it,
you're supposed to say. If you forget to say something, nobody knows what you're supposed to say.
exactly.
They're not
Yeah.
in your head. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's all good.
It's all about telling a story about your message. Les Brown is like king about how to do that. He's doing lives almost every day right now, every evening. That guy is amazing. He was on this show not long ago, and
Congrats.
he was what a sweetheart. I love that man.
Good man.
He's an amazing guy. So as we said earlier, being an entrepreneur takes a lot of skill sets, right? You actually have to have some skill, and you need to cultivate some skill. And as I said in the outset, one skill set, if you can master it, that will help you greatly. It is best to have more than one that you've mastered.
Mhm.
And for you, Clarissa, where you are today, just right now, not yesterday, not a year ago, but right now, if you were to pick three of the top skill sets that you would implore others to cultivate and to learn and master for themselves, what would those three be?
Surprise question you didn't know. First of all, I would definitely say, and you said it with reading, which is absolutely most important, but I would say with courses. There is never a moment in, that I'm not on Udemy, Coursera, Lynda, Skillshare, whatever it is, you're never above the fray. There's always something new coming out. You do not know it all. Things are moving very quickly. And so especially when Udemy is doing like their $9.99 a course, I have quite a few courses in there that, I either refer back to or that I just can't wait to buy and delve right into. Like people binge watch on Netflix. I binge watch on Udemy. And that's the truth. I wish I could say, I was doing more exciting things. I'm a little boring, I know, but that's one of the best things I think is that you can get on there and just keep learning, whatever it is. And sometimes I'll go and I'll pick out a course that's just a little bit out of what I probably think I need, but I'll learn it anyway. And so that's really one of the first skill sets I think are one of the most important things. The second one, leadership for me, I think is so many things. And I think that even today, when I'm working, thanks to Brian, he had brought up Acadium once to me, and you should get his link so that you know what we're talking about. But it's a place where you go and get interns, right? Well, interns today are much younger than I am. I don't know about Brian, but than I am. And so there's a whole new way now as people of our age that we, as older, baby boomers working with millennials and even younger. I think millennials even younger. Well, let's stop it at millennials. And you have to know how to talk to them to keep them motivated, because it's a whole different mindset, and it's a whole different work ethic, if you will, between the two. So really important to know how to speak to them. If it was me, it would be, black, white, you're late, 1 minute after 9, you're late. That would be my way of doing things. But I know that that's not the way the world turns these days. So I adapt. And I keep it all together. And I learned that, a minute late, probably not the greatest thing. It's not gonna break the deal, So that's another thing in leadership that I think was really, really important. And the third thing that I would say that I don't know is necessarily a skill set, but it's something to keep in mind. And that is always have your legalities in order beforehand. And I know I could say that from experience by thinking, that probably is one of the things I could probably cut, because money's tight, and a legal and lawyer probably not the first the first spend right now. I probably wouldn't do that. So, but you're either going to pay for legal beforehand and contracts and making sure that you have all your I's dotted and your T's crossed, and either you're going to pay them now or you're going to pay the piper later. Because there's going to be something that's going to come along. It's going to be a train wreck because you thought everything was there and it wasn't. And it was something you never even knew existed. So that's happened to me. I learned it the hard way. And I'm going to say, just, be really mindful that your business is pulled together in a way that you are covered legally. straight across the board. And I think they're a great, I don't use them, but I know there's like Legal Shield and other things quite like that, are good for, startups or solo and entrepreneurs that may not have a lot of money to throw at legal, but there are other ways of getting great legal advice. And I would say that those are the three things I would absolutely not leave home without, kind of like the American Express card.
Nice plug. You must be getting royalties. I love it.
It's not a plug.
Wow. Hey, I'm curious. So let's say there is a woman entrepreneur out there. And by the way, I'm sure you also cater to men as well, but that's just your avatar. But there's a woman entrepreneur out there that wants your services. What is it that you do for someone who needs the exposure? Like, what are the bullet point items of the things that you take care of? Maybe take it from the beginning. Because I'm curious. I want to know, what is it exactly that a publicist, a PR person, someone with the acumen that you have and the background that you have and the experience that you have, what are the things that you do for them that get that exposure out there for them?
Well, first of all, we have look good, feel good, be good, and greater good. And look good is obviously the external you. So we take a look at a lot of women, are not really, as maybe up to date. We kind of take a little bit of, we work on their the exterior, if you will, so that I get a lot of questions about how people are supposed to do their makeup and their hair and what to wear and what colors. And color is a science, so it's really important that you're using and wearing the right colors that are really pulling out the best in you and not covering you up. That's and believe me, it's true. It's a science, and it really works. So I definitely work with them in the beginning with making them look the best that they can look. We get them their headshots. We do a presentation video and a headshot with really phenomenal photographers. I think are the most important things, because photographer is kind of like anything else. You can go buy your dress at Walmart, or you can buy it at Nordstrom, and photography is really important when it comes to getting just the right headshot that really makes you shine. And we want to see your personality. We want to see the best you. So we start out with look good, and I work with their wardrobe, and we do all of that. The feel good part is, as you had said, how important it is to stay healthy, Brian, and work with them to make sure that we work with them and make sure that they are on top of their game of everything medical and all of the things that they're supposed to be taking. I like working with blood types, but I bring in a specialist for them as well, because the amount of work that women mostly need to do, especially as entrepreneurs and solopreneurs, they have a lot of work at home too. Not that guys don't, but it usually does fall more on the woman. So we really need to make sure, if you, as an entrepreneur, if you go, it all goes. It's that fourth leg to the chair, right? Once if you're not feeling well, it all shuts down. Yeah. You have other places that you want to make sure that you are always feeling your absolute best, and certainly trying to get some workout in. I'm a little lax on that, Brian, I'm sorry to say, but getting your workouts in is really important. And I take great supplements and protein shakes and all of that. The next part, as we had said, is the be good piece. And that whole be good is everything that is about your business that you need to lock and load. I try to keep everything as tight as I possibly can with as few people as I possibly can, because that's the best way that I work best. And then greater good is always having that mission and the why, always knowing why you are doing this. Brian asked me the question before, and find your cause. And sometimes, for me, as I said before, the idea that I can jump on with domesticshelters.org every 2 weeks and make an impact on, even if it's just one person, that needs help, that to me is really important. So my why is really making sure that we get women, living in happy, healthy, full self-esteem. And it all comes down to that. Everything I just said, everything I just, ranted off, is all about healthy, happy self-esteem. And I know it sounds corny, but look it up. It's true. You need to be having a great relationship with yourself, because if you don't, by the time your feet hit the floor in the morning, something's going to go wrong. It's going to go awry. And you just have to know how to create. Look, the book will talk about all about creating boundaries and how to take care of yourself. We do all of that too. So I'm really a big believer in, just being a really strong you. And I love helping women, because I even had husbands call me and say, oh, I haven't seen her look like this in so long. Thank you, Clarissa. You really, and you've made her so happy. And we're going to go out to dinner tonight. And so, man, and she was a friend of mine. And I brought her. She came over, and would you please help? Sometimes I'll just take them to Walgreens and we'll go to CVS and we'll walk up and down the aisles and I'll help them with, find the makeup that they need. Those are the little details, Brian, that, nobody would expect, that I absolutely, it's the stuff I love doing the most. So we just want to make sure that everybody's feeling their best, because, it is a world where you need to be putting your best foot forward. That's for sure.
Amazing. I want to ask you some more about that. But before I do, this young woman, she is the mother of my mentor, Susanna Shanti Collier. She is amazing. The mother of Mel Cutler. And I've got to spend a weekend with her in Big Bear amongst another group. And what an amazing, amazing woman. Thank you so much for coming on. So happy to see you here.
Hello.
So once you get them feeling good about themselves and looking good even to others,
right,
then as far as exposure and marketing and getting them out there, what are the processes there? Now that you've got the foundation, no pun intended, set, and now you can get them out there and getting them exposed to the people that they need to be exposed to. What is the next step?
The first thing I do in the limelight is I get them all ready. They get all ready and prepared, and then we get them onto the show, much like you have done with me here tonight. So we get them on the show, we get them interviewed. The interview then becomes a podcast. The podcast then becomes, as I showed you before, it becomes an article in the magazine, which is really cool. If they want to be a contributor in the magazine, we talk about what would be a really great way for them to, to talk about their business. What's their niche? What's the category? I've got women talking about wellness. I've got people talking about business. There are all kinds of different things in the magazine. So that's another thing that we do offer, which is really great. The newsletter goes out every week, so we make sure that, that their show goes out into the newsletter. I've got the possibility of getting press releases out for them. And the magazine now is going to be going on a platform now called Press Reader, where you can go. It's much like Apple Newsstand, if you will, but this is where they got 3,000 magazines that you can be able to see from this platform. And it's kind of an all over the world kind of thing. Hotels buy this service as opposed to cruise lines buy this service. So there's even more exposure there, if you will. I'm very excited also, as I had said before, about the press release, because press releases are very expensive. I found a way to do this where it is, it's really affordable. So we straight across the board, and then I help them. I've got people that I'm working with that are Speaker Tunity, for example, with my good friend Jackie LePen. She's got something out there that that you can get onto stages all over the United States. With a nominal fee every month. There's another one, lovely lady that I'm working with. Her name is Shelly Harrison. You may know her. And she's got something called Luminary Leaders. So they are all in the magazine, by the way. So the magazine, as I said, it is in the limelight, intelligent media for the savvy entrepreneur, because the resources are in here as well. So great articles, great content, beautiful advertising, and then we give them really great articles that they can get some great information from other entrepreneurs. So again, it's just kind of a straight across the board. The other piece is In the Limelight TV is now going to be going on to another platform where we're going to be able to see, much like you do, Brian, Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire, Chromecast, YouTube. I mean, so we're going to be growing the network. And then everyone that has a show under the network can start to cross promote, which is so exciting, because now we've got this band of people globally that are helping each other promote each other's shows. So the list just goes on as to, and I do the training, I train you as a one-on-one training. We can do that. It's not hard. We just do it by Zoom, and I help train you. I onboard you. I get you ready to run your own show. I show you how to do it all. And it's really simple. It's not, simple. It's simpler than you would think, but you will have to put some work into it, Brian. You're going to have to put a few dollars into it, or you can just come on to my show and not worry about all of that, and I take care of that. Or you can start your own show. Exciting stuff.
Yeah, and I mean, come on. I can't think of anybody with enough background, experience, talent than Clarissa Burt for you to be taken care of. You being the listener, you being the person watching this show, because she's done it. So here's the thing. There are so many entrepreneurs out there. There's so many that are faking it till they're making it. Clarissa is by far the opposite end of that spectrum. She has done it. 30 years of entertainment. Come on.
Well, I lived in Italy, Brian. So I learned how to do, what I do on live television in another language. And so, I'm doing it in Italian. I had to learn the language first, and then I got on the stages. I was on television for a lot of years in Italy. I did, again, live there for 30 years. So, when you're weaned on live, there's very little that they can throw at you that you can't handle. I remember there was one day there was an actual bomb scare in the studio. And so I didn't go anywhere because I didn't believe it. But if the bomb had gone off, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you tonight.
Good point.
Yeah, I know. I'm happy about that too.
Thank you, Shanti. Great interview. I appreciate you. That's all because of this young lady right here.
Oh, now.
Yes, yes.
All the time. I'll bet you say that to all of the girls.
I cleaned up just for you for this show.
Oh, you put on a jacket. Gee, thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Fantastic. Oh my goodness, we're 10 minutes out. That can't be the case.
That's how fast it goes too. That's it too. When you're having such a good time, it does go really fast. So,
every single time. I mean, I could easily make these an hour and a half, maybe 2-hour shows. And you talked about, you said something about Udemy, and you did binge watching on that. And you said something like, talk about boring or something like that. I thought, heck no. I mean, that's like listening to books. It's like Audible.
I listen to books. Yeah.
When
I'm in the car, I'll listen.
There's nothing boring about it.
Yeah. It's fun. Well, I mean, I'm not necessarily the most exciting person when I'm sitting around listening. I love it. I absolutely love it. But, and again, as I said, I probably learn too much because there's too much going in. I get a little confuselated every once in a while. But, it's a lot. There's a lot, but there's a lot to know and a lot to learn. These are exciting times. Forget politics and, I'm not going to say forget COVID, but, we're going to get past all of this stuff. And this, again, it's been, I think, such a great moment to stay at home, be at home, strengthen relationships. So should they have been strengthened, and leave somebody if they should, you shouldn't have left them, or like all of these. It was a major life-changing moment. And for all of us that really wanted to take that deeper dive into ourselves, whether it be our personal development or our business development or whatever it is that we wanted to do, man, if you didn't take a deep dive now, and we did, I think, and my shows, Brian, are proving that over time again. I did 8 interviews yesterday, and every one of those interviews are saying, well, I'm working double or triple, but my business is booming. I can't tell you how many people are saying my business is booming.
Yeah. And same here. It's so funny because more opportunities have come my way since COVID hit than before. It's just been people coming out of the woodwork. I think there's a couple of reasons for it. And we're kind of running parallel lives here, Clarissa. We've been building for several years, each of us.
Started at the same time, didn't we?
Pretty close. And now we're hitting that point of momentum, and now it's really starting to take off, and it's exciting. And right when this shutdown happened, that was actually a good thing for many businesses, including yours and mine. Yep. And not to say that COVID's a good thing in other ways, but just, you got to look at the positive. You got to take.
I think it's really cute, Brian, and all the people that are learning Zoom right now. It's I spoke to somebody the other day. He said, "How do you do Zoom? I've never done Zoom. What are you supposed to do?" And I'm like, "God, you just click on a link. It's all good." And we've been Zooming since the beginning. Because for business, so it's just really cool to see everybody jumping on this train.
Did Zoom before Zoom? Are you kidding?
I know, we were Zooming all over the place, and it's good to see everybody jumping on board and having fun with it. I think people are really having fun with it. I mean, honestly, I was thinking about this today. The business of clothing. As far as from here up, I'm sure, from here up, booming business. But when you're talking about pants or slacks or whatever, I wouldn't even I feel really bad for manufacturers of pants right now because it just ain't happening. I'm not even going to stand up.
Good. I don't have to ask now. I wasn't going to.
Nope, not going to happen.
It's true though. And I will pull back the curtain here as well. Even before COVID hit, because it's always warm in my studio office here, I have not done a single show wearing pants. I do have shorts on, just to be clear. I have very light workout shorts. I do not have shoes. I don't have socks. I'm barefoot, and I'm standing on an earthing mat, or my feet are on an earthing mat beneath the desk.
Right. Well, I'm in Phoenix, and it's still in triple digits on the 1st of October. It's 101 degrees today. I mean, and people say, "Oh, there's air conditioning." Look, it permeates your soul. After 6 months of this triple digits, believe me.
Oh, we got two more questions I got to get out to you because they're big ones, especially the last one. And we are 6 minutes out. I cannot believe it. We have some things to take care of before we let you go, and I don't want to let you go, but we have to at some point. One of the things I'm most curious about when it comes to successful entrepreneurs such as yourself, and you are in many different facets of exposure, I like to call it, of marketing. What have you found of all the different types of marketing that you've utilized to this point? And this can go all the way back to when you first started.
Wow.
What has been the most successful form for you to date of marketing? Is it word of mouth? Is it paid ads? Is it exposure in magazines or on TV? What has it been for you?
I think for me, the most important, especially after I moved back from Italy, where I was for 30 years, and I came back here, and I didn't, it was difficult for me because I had I had to recreate, if you will, an identity because no one, I was very well known there, not known at all. I mean, my neighbors don't even know who I am, so I had to start all over again there. And it was true. I mean, I was already in my 50s at that point. I had come back to the United States. Nope, I didn't know where to start. I didn't know anybody here. So can you imagine having a really fabulous career somewhere else, and then you come back home and you're kind of like, well, where do I start? So I started about 9 years ago, just networking. You said, what do you do? What do you do? What do you do? Well, I know what I did, but I don't really yet know what I'm going to do. I had to figure that all out. And I think one of the best thing, and I know it's going to sound really crazy, is people stopped and did, when I didn't really have the answer for them, they stopped and they did Google searches. And they saw, because I'm not going to tell you who I was. I'm not going to brag about it. I'm going to tell you who I am. And because I didn't have a business yet. So people, I think people didn't, they don't care about, all the other stuff. They want to know, what are you doing now? What can you do for me? And I didn't really have an answer. So funnily enough, it was the Google searches, and people come back and say, oh my God, I Googled you. Oh, did you? Okay. Well, anyway, so I know it's a silly answer. It's a silly answer, but it's the first thing that came to mind because it really was my best marketing tool for a long time because they were able to see the modeling years, the acting years that I was a producer, a television producer, and those kind of things. And I just said, well, I'm in media. I started, well, I'm in media. I've been in media for a very long time and, whatever. But nobody wants to hear, the modeling. They don't want to hear that.
But they do.
Well, it's funny. And I know you do that.
Everyone who's not a model or didn't do modeling.
Well, because I'm 61 years old, I'm not a supermodel anymore. I used to be, but I'm not. And I don't want to lead with that. And you don't.
The cool thing is, though, is you can leverage your past experience for gains in your current experience. I think, and you know what? You spent a lot of time perfecting it. You put a lot of energy into it. You became very good at it. So why not leverage it and use it to
me? You were the one that said to me, Brian, well, look, Buzz Aldrin hasn't been on the moon in 1,000 years, but he's still an astronaut. And I went, oh, I know.
That's, yeah.
And I went, you know what? He just might have a point. So look, again, it's something that I did, and it's something that I loved. It's not who I am now, but okay.
Yeah, and those that are not in the industry or haven't been exposed to television and film, who know somebody, find out that somebody was in all of those that you were, it's intriguing to them. They want to know about it. Now,
the Never-Ending Story Part 2.
There you go.
There.
I mean, I live near LA, and I've met quite a few stars just passing by and running into them. So to me, I don't get all giddy about it. It's still intriguing to me, though. I mean, if someone were to say, Brian, you get to go meet Arnold Schwarzenegger in person, because I've never met him in person, I'd be like a little schoolgirl with a skirt all blown up. I'd be like, woohoo, yeah, let's go. I would be excited because I love his entrepreneurial side. How he did so many things. It was unbelievable. Yeah, he's done some goofy things, but who am I to judge, right?
Search, and certainly for me, up to date, I would say networking.
Yeah. Okay. Fantastic.
I can't say it enough. And then, of course, media, which is another form of promotion. And let's face it, networking is the same thing. It's a form of promotion.
It is. You're right. Okay. Of course you're right. You're the expert. I have one final question that I want to ask you, and I ask this of every entrepreneur I've had on this show.
Yes.
And I found it very intriguing. It's very powerful. And it's actually somewhat personal to boot. And I always love what I hear. I love them. I love every one of them. They're just amazing. But before I do that, real quick, I promised everyone who stayed on with us to the end, this is the time that stayed with us live. You now have both Clarissa and mine permission. Yeah, right? Permission to take your gaze away from the screen just for a moment and pull out that thing that you use to call people. It's called a phone, if you remember that. And you can pull up your texting app, because it's now time to enter to win that 5-night stay at a 5-star luxury resort. Compliments of the Big Insider Secrets. I'm going to put it up on the screen right now. For those of you watching live, pull up that messaging app on your phone, and where you would type in the name of the person you're going to text, instead type in a phone number, and that number is 314-665-1767. And then down where you would actually type in the message, where you put the emojis, no emojis necessary here. You type in the words peak hyphen or dash vacation, no spaces, peak, that's PEAK dash vacation. Then tap that little send button and then follow the directions. You will get a response automatically, and just follow the directions and it will let you know when you have officially been entered. Go ahead and do that right now, because we are coming back to the woman of the hour, Clarissa Burt, with the big question of the night.
Yes.
Now, here's the thing, Clarissa, there's a couple things about this question. Number one, there is no such thing as a wrong answer.
You're scaring me now.
It doesn't exist.
You are scaring me.
You cannot get it wrong. It's impossible. It doesn't exist. You're guaranteed success, because the opposite is true. The only correct answer is your answer, whatever it happens to be.
Fantastic.
Crazy, huh?
Yeah.
And so that's the personal aspect of it. That's all. We're not going to go deep into personal. So when I ask the question, sometimes it takes a moment. Other times it's instant. It doesn't matter how long it takes. Take all the time you need.
Oh my God, ask the question already.
Is the build-up working? Is it working?
Oh, just ask the damn question.
All right. Now that we're in a good state emotionally. All right, you ready?
Yes.
Here we go.
Yes.
All right. If you say you're ready, here we go. Clarissa Burt, how do you define success?
Oh, this one. Okay. I define success by the feeling that you get when you see happiness on the face of someone else that you have worked with, that you have helped reach their goal. Boom, mic drop.
I love it. Fantastic. Amazing. Tremendous. Stupendous. And lastly, how do people get in touch with you now that you have graced this incredibly enormous stage? I'm going to pull up your website and just have that there while you're telling folks how they can connect with you and get
it's pretty
in
simple.
contact with you.
Clarissa Burt anywhere. Clarissa Burt, pretty much anywhere. I'm on Facebook, I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Instagram, I'm on, what else am I? I'm everywhere, Twitter. So pretty much anywhere you can find, I'm not on Snapchat. I don't do Snap, but you can also click right there on clarissaburt.com and you can find all of my social there as well. There's some more on the stage stuff and being in the movies. And, I just love it. I've been really, people say blessed, but they use the word, maybe it's overused, but it's just it's a blessing, but it's also it's a lot of hard work, and it's just pursuing the dreams. I knew when I was a child this is what I wanted to do. I knew when I was Mary Poppins on the kindergarten play, in the kindergarten play, and I got up in front of my first audience and I heard that first applause and I was singing supercalifragilisticexpialidocious and I never skipped a word. I like it. I knew that this is what I wanted to be. This is who I was going to be. And now that I get the chance to help other people do the same thing, it's awesome, because there's nothing like being in the media that I can't even explain. It's just that connection that you have with people, especially when we're live. But certainly this is second best. And I, it's absolutely who I am and what I love. So shut me up. Will you shut me up? I've said enough already.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to get exposure, if you want to market your business, if you want to get your business in the limelight, then this is the young lady, ClarissaBurt.com. Head on over there. Reach out to her. She says she's everywhere. You can go on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, you name it, and say hi to her. Do it with respect and say, Clarissa, I want your help. Show me how to get PR the way you do it because of your vast experience and the fact that you love to help people. And look, your definition of success had nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
That tells me so much about you, and it tells everybody else so much about you. What drives you, what defines you is other people's happiness. And that is why you're such a special young lady. And thank you so much for coming on tonight. I cannot tell you.
I really enjoyed this so much.
It's been a long time coming too. We were going to do this some time ago, and look, we just kept at it.
You were on my show, but we've been waiting to get me on yours. You're right.
Yes, fantastic. All right, well, that's it for tonight. On behalf of this amazing young woman, Clarissa Burt, I am your host, Brian Kelly of the Mind Body Business Show. We will see you again next week. Until then, so long and be blessed for now. Goodbye, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to the Mind Body Business Show podcast at www.themindbodybusinessshow.com.